Mitzvahs esem in HaTorah leilich b'darkei Hashem. Shenema v'yolachta b'drochot. Huh?
You said Gimel.
Gimel.
Gimel, yeah, that's good.
וכך למדו בפרש מצווה זה, וכך למדו בפרש מצווה, and it was mean, v'yolachta b'drochot, so the Chazal said, Mahu nikra chanan, afato heye chanan. V'oisei matonas chinam, the same thing also, Mahu nikra racham, afato nikra racham. Mahu nikra erech apayim, he's patient. Afato heye erech apayim. V'chein, shar kol amidah sheyesh b'odam, צורך להידמוס עצמי בהם ובוירי ולמוס ברע שבהם ולבחר בטוב. So how do you accomplish this? וכיצד יאגו אדם לעצמו במידס טויבס עד שיקבו בוירי become established, כבודת, Yasa, V'yishana, V'yishalish, V'maisim Sha'isa. He should repeat, keep repeating. Al-pi midas ha'elu. V'yachzer b'hem tomid. Ad she'tiyah asiyosam melet is very gringa. V'yikvu hamidas b'nafshet. Kigoin. Im kili, if he's stingy, your father, he should give, your father means like throw around. V'yidem momen habel aniyim, v'yigmo chesed, gam rashirim, he should also do gemil sasodim. V'yizka v'yiten, ad she'tikva b'nafshoy midas v'raf chesed, shenashtava ba'kadosh baruch hu. So maybe he will have the midah that the Eibusher said. He says over here, "V'yigmo chesed rashirim." The Gemara says that gedol tzedakah yosem min gedol gemilas chasadim yosem min tzedakah, because tzedakah is l'aniyim and gemilas chasadim is l'aniyim rashirim. So I once said a vote about gemilas chasadim. In Pirkei Avos steht, al shreishe dvarim oilam oimed, al atayra, val avoida, val gemilas chasadim. What is the title of the words gemilas chasadim? What's the title of those words? So l'chayra, in Pashtus, the title is doing a chesed. Or giving, something like that. So the question is, if it says Ashresh Dvar Ma'il Ma'imid, it says Ala Taira. It doesn't say Ali Muda Taira. It says Ala Taira. Ala Avoida. So, especially if we touch that Avoida means Tefillah, so Kedav Shein, Avoida is not Tefillah. Right? Or Avoida B'Kavan or something. Why over here, why doesn't it just say, our title of Avodah Chasadim? Why is it specified? Explain. So I said an interesting thing. It may, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I think it's a good word. Gemilas Chasadim does not mean giving alone. What's that Gemilas Chasadim? So because it's safe to say, first is Torah. The mission doesn't touch us Torah. Well, Avodah, the mission doesn't touch us Avodah. Gemilas Chasadim comes from the word, Gemilas comes from the word, Vayigdal Hayalad Vayigomel. What's the touch? Vayigdal Hayalad Vayigomel? That before he was a certain age, so Sarah nursed him, and then when he became older, so in English school, she weaned him off. She stopped nursing him. The the Gemilas HaSodom that the Mishnah means doesn't mean chesed. It means Gemilas HaSodom, getting the person off the need for chesed. Understand? That the person shouldn't need a loan. Help him, like Rashi says in Chumash also, that help him before he needs it. As I'm going to daven onkom to them. Okay, it's a different type. Okay, let's go back. V'achar shetikva b'nafshay midazu. Once this gets engraved, this midah, lo yifazer yosem midai. What he's saying now is that a person was a kili, he was stingy. How do you get out of being a stingy? If you start giving very much, but not, you can't continue doing that way. Because he's going to say over here, and the Rambam says it also, that tzedakah is ma'aser, and what's the lashon? Not more than a chaimish, and so and not to give away all your money. So that's what he's saying over here, that after he acquires this midah that is no longer stingy, is lo yifazer yosem midai, shazu eina derech tova. V'takonas chachamish lo yivazer yosem michaimish, el yinaig v'derech hamitzua, in between, and hu derech hatova v'yishor. V'chutz m'shiflas haruach. Now, shiflas haruach means that a person is very humble. So he's saying, over here it's different. Because ishtetach she'ma'od ma'od havi shvar ruach ki toivas Hashem kol v'alev. So therefore, yisrachek mizeh ad kitzei ha'achron. V'chol hamabia levavoi kiel kofa b'ika. Shenema v'romu v'ofcha v'shechachta. V'rom means that you go high. As Hashem okecha. V'chol mi sheyesh b'yod gasus haruach hu ka'asheda v'ein afra nimna v'tchiyas ha'mesim. We learned that Masech L'Seitel. So v'chein ha'kas midaro ma'od u'migasas haruach hu bo. It comes from gasas haruach. Someone becomes angry because someone said something to him. Oh, who you? You don't know who I am. What do you mean you're talking like that to me? Also, I say achron. Afilim tzorach liches al ha'om rafisha midvar avedo ulachzira l'mutav yira atzma ki'ilu hu koyis. In other words, if you see something wrong, so you're supposed to mention it. But if you get cause, it shouldn't be a real cause. It should be like it seems that you're very angry. V'tia datam yeshevus alav bein atzma. In other words, usually a person, when he becomes very angry, he loses control of himself. So he's saying over here, he should be in control of himself. V'amar chachamim kol ha'koyes ki lo hevil avez chachamim u'mazolas v'nishmosa mistarekas shenema toiref nafshay ba'apay. Apay means with anger, nose. V'ficha tzir b'chacham v'sachim min ha'kayes ad sheyanig atzma shlo yagish kal l'davar mechisim. It shouldn't bother him. And to that extent, v'zu derech tzadikim, this is the way of tzadikim, aluvim v'einim ovim, that means people embarrass them, but they don't embarrass. Shemim Chaposam Ve'enim Meshivim, but people say to them not nice things. Oisem Be'ava Usmeichem B'Yisurim, B'Reim HaKosav V'Oimer V'Oyev V'Geses Hashem Mishbrig also. So that's another thing that he's saying, which is based on the Gemara, that you should go to the other extent. V'im hu Talmud Chacham, and v'chif hu ubizu echad me'am. If a person insulted the Talmud Chacham, lo yoshev acha posei, shouldn't answer.
Who shouldn't answer? Who shouldn't answer?
Huh?
Who should? Talmud Chacham shouldn't answer?
Chacham shouldn't answer. ומכל מקום, יהיה לעונש על ביזיון התורה. This is an interesting thing. The question is, we can say it later over here, but when someone is mevazel Talmud Chacham, there's two things. There's a bizayon to the person, and there's the Talmud Chacham like represents Torah. So it's going to be like a bizayon to Torah. I think he's saying over here that the Chacham by not answering will have an einish for bizayon. Anyone have a different shot here?
How are you learning it?
Huh? Who will have the einish for bizayon HaTorah?
It could be that individual who embarrassed him.
So what's the shout? Umikol makom. Read the words. He says, "La yoshev acha pasay." Huh?
Even though the Talmud Chacham is not going to answer, it doesn't bother him to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Still, but that person will still have right.
That person will have the.
Yeah.
The one who embarrassed him, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. V'im yavei acha linkaim nikmosei. If someone else will come get involved and say to the person, not to the Talmud Chacham, to the person that embarrassed, will say to them, "Hey, what are you doing? You know who this is and everything." So, yishtok v'layimcha biyodai. You shouldn't stop. No, don't say no. Don't say anything. That's mega racist. V'azeh ormu kol Talmud Chacham she'einem noike v'noite k'nochosh eine Talmud Chacham hayu v'ein teirasa chashuva b'eino, because they're really being mevazel the Torah, and if you're not allowing someone to told this guy to get out of here, so it means that you don't care about the cover of the Torah. Ve'eina makbel al b'zoyno, umikol makom im mefaisen oisai. If the person realizes that he was wrong against his Talmud Chacham, tzorach is pious miyad. Shebepiyas zeh kvar niskan covered the Torah. V'al zeh omer kol amav v'al midaisov. In other words, he doesn't. He gives in to the person. Umoichol l'fishem apaisai, and he forgives someone that apologizes to him. Mavirin le'akop shov. V'chol zeh b'tzar haguf. Aber b'davar sheb'momen av Talmud Chacham also lita b'liboy v'ein tzarech leim l'nakim. If it's he was Messiah, the person he personally offended him, so that's one very serious. But if it's a money issue, the Talmud Chacham has to not make an issue. There's two things. There's noikem v'noita. He's going to explain now what noikem v'noita is. V'noikem v'noita over beloy sasa shenama v'sokem v'osita espnei amecha. Ezel nekima. What does mean nekima? Amaloi, if a person says to you, Hashileni kaduma, could you lend me your axe. I gotta chop down a tree. And he refused to give it to him. Tomorrow, the same person that today asked for an axe comes, Hashani Magelcha, could you lend me your magel is what they call in English a sickle. It looks like a question mark. It has a handle and a round thing to it. And he said to him, Eini Mashilcha Kedera Shalai Hishaltonin. Yesterday he came and he asked for the thing. And the person refused it. So now he's coming back to the person who asked him yesterday for the axe. So he says to him, you remember yesterday when I asked you for the axe, you didn't give it to me? I'm not going to give you now. It's a Zuhi Nakima. This is called Noikim. V'im Amalai. And if he said to him, Hareini Mashilcha, oh, of course, I'm gonna give it to you. Of Aini Kamosh, I'm not like you. He gives him a rub. He says, I'm going to lend it to you. When I ask you, I'm not like you. I lend people. Zuhi Natira. Ella Yimocha Adova Melibay. If it happened yesterday that if he refused to give you, don't carry it in you. Get rid of it. V'loi Yaskira, and you shouldn't mention it. V'loi Yala Alev V'olam. And v'tzoraka Adam Wizor B'zeh. Because human nature is that people do say these things and people do these things. So he's saying you have to make an effort not to do it. Okay, let's learn one more step. After the parentheses, it says mitzvahs asali dabek b'yodei Hashem. It's a mitzvah to be connected, to be attached to those who know Hashem. I mean, Elach Yidin u'b'torosei shenem Hashem pasuk u'vay sidbek. ונכבו הציבו במקום אחר, שנאמר ולדווקא בוי. ואומר הזל, וכי אפשר לדבק בשכינה, could you connect yourself, attach yourself to the שכינה? אלא כך אומר חכם בפירש מצווה, so this is what the Chacham explained this mitzvah. הדבק בחכמים ובתלמידים, כדי ללמוד מעשיהם. וכן ציווה חכם ואומר, have you מסעבק בעפר רגליהם. You should have a desire to the dust.
I never understood why it says dust. Why they're dust again?
You follow them.
Means you follow them?
No, I when we went to pick it up, so I said, it steht, Hi beischo beisvada chachamim. What does that mean? It means they should have shuri Torah in your house, right? But there's a lot of people that don't want to let it share in the house because it's going to dirty the carpet.
Oh.
So he says, that dust that they're going to bring in, that's a holy dust, that's a special dust. And you should drink batzoma estevrayim. In other words, every drop, when someone is thirsty, so every drop is important. I once a person once gave me money for the yeshiva, and I said to him, do you remember that when you went to the yeshiva, your father couldn't afford to pay tuition? Today it was a gevir. So after he gave me a nice donation, and I came the next time, and I told him again, the same story. So he says to me, I already paid up what my father didn't pay. So I said to him, es steht, Rabbi Shoyse Batzomes Evreim. He said, what's the Pshat of Shoyse? What does it mean? I said, because you can clear a shayla. What is the din if somebody is, let's say, in a midbar, and he's dying from thirst, and he has no water, and someone comes and brings him a small glass of water? How much does he owe him? So you could say, you could say he owes him, the glass of water is worth 5 cents, so he owes him 5 cents. He gave him 5 cents. Or you could say that he saved his life. Because if he wouldn't give him the glass of water, he wouldn't, wird ausgegangen von Durst. So when a child goes to yeshiva and he didn't pay anything, what is the yeshiva owed? Is they owed what it cost to raise the child, or is it what they change it? They saved this person's life. So that's what Shabbat Rishoyis, what Thomas Abraham. You should consider it like a thirsty person that learns with you as though he saves your life, because he gives you life. Because Eitz Chaim Hila, Machzik and Bo.
Thank you very much.